Hi there, friends, and welcome to the Manouche channel. Grapes are pretty much the only fruit that already has the right balance of water, viscosity, and sugar to work on their own. In today's video, we're going to learn how to make a totally natural red grape wine using a traditional Georgian technique. The goal of this series of videos is to empower you to create various beverages at home with the lowest cost and the simplest equipment that is accessible to everyone. So let's get started on making our grape wine together. The quantities used in this video are suitable for making 50 liters of grape wine with a final alcohol content of around 11.5%, following one of the traditional Georgian winemaking methods. 65 kilograms of suitable red grapes. The ideal grapes for red wine are typically those with a dark blue-black color, often referred to as blue-black grapes. These grapes not only have an ideal taste and color, but also contain the right amount of sugar for wine production. Equipment: some are optional but handy. Fermentation vessels with a capacity suitable for the volume of grapes. For this quantity, an 80-liter or two 40-liter vessels are appropriate. The vessels should have lids that can prevent air from entering and be capable of having an airlock installed. Airlock to control the fermentation process and allow the CO2 produced during fermentation to escape. Hydrometer, optional, to measure and control the completion of fermentation. Refractometer, optional, to measure the initial sugar content and estimate the final alcohol content. It's also useful for selecting grapes when purchasing a straining bag or wine press to separate the grape skins and juice after primary fermentation. Dark glass bottles for packaging the wine, along with corks or suitable bottle caps. Glass containers with airtight lids for secondary fermentation and wine aging, capable of having an airlock installed. We can make wine from any type of grape, but the final result will vary in terms of color, taste, and alcohol content. Typically, the alcohol content of grape wine ranges between 10% to 14%, depending on the type of wine and the manufacturer. Therefore, specific grapes are used for wine production, which have a particular color, taste, and high natural sugar content. So, selecting the right grapes is crucial. The grapes I've chosen are one of the varieties used for wine production, with a dark blue-black color and a natural sugar content of 23 degrees Brix, equivalent to 230 grams of sugar per liter, or approximately 1.089 on the hydrometer. To break it down further, every 1 degree Brix or 10 grams of sugar can produce about 0.5% alcohol during fermentation. Thus, if fermentation is complete, we can expect around 11.5% alcohol content in our wine. If you have a refractometer, you can easily measure the sugar content of the grapes when purchasing, ensuring you make a better selection. It's also advisable to buy from sellers who have sufficient knowledge about the grapes. A critical point to note is that the grapes should not be washed or have any excess water on them. They should be used in their natural state, as picked, with only any visible impurities, rotten grapes, or leaves removed before starting. Before we begin, it's essential to sanitize all the equipment we'll be using. This can be done using food-grade metabisulfite powder, about 10 to 20 grams per liter of water, or any other safe sanitizing agent. Remember to use food-grade materials and follow the recommended usage. Crushing the grapes. The first step is to crush the grapes. The method doesn't matter as long as the grapes are thoroughly crushed and juiced. Traditionally, this is done in large containers using feet, but you can use a grape crusher or your hands, depending on the quantity you're working with. It's essential to crush the grapes along with their stems to ensure they're fully juiced. I'm using the traditional method due to the quantity I'm working with. As we crush, we'll need to continuously collect the juice and continue crushing until at least 90% of the juice is extracted. After crushing, we'll transfer the juice and grape skins to the fermentation vessel. If done correctly, you'll have a mixture that looks like this. Our job in this step is done, and we can move on to the next stage, primary fermentation. Take a clean, preferably wooden tool and mix the grape mixture inside the vessel. Then seal the vessel, ensuring no air can enter, and attach an airlock. Place the vessel in an environment with a temperature between 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, 59 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The fermentation temperature should remain within this range throughout the primary fermentation process. If it's too cold or too hot, fermentation may be affected. Typically, after a few hours or a day, fermentation will start, indicated by a slow release of air through the airlock. During fermentation, the grape skins will rise to the surface. To prevent them from coming into contact with the air inside the vessel, which could lead to mold or oxidation, we'll need to regularly push them back under the liquid. In the first few days, especially when fermentation is vigorous, we'll need to do this about 2 to 3 times a day. As fermentation slows down, so will the need for this process. It's crucial to do this quickly to minimize air intake and then seal the vessel again. The duration of primary fermentation can vary between 7 to 14 days, depending on factors like sugar content, temperature, and the type of grapes used. Usually by the 10th or 11th day, signs of the end of primary fermentation become apparent. The air release through the airlock slows down significantly to about 1 bubble per minute or at least every 30 seconds, and the grape skins no longer float to the surface. The wine will also start to smell of alcohol, indicating the completion of primary fermentation. It's time to move on to the next step. Straining. To proceed to secondary fermentation, we first need to strain the wine and separate it from the grape skins. Prepare 3 sanitized containers. In the first container, collect the wine that has been strained without pressing the grape skins. Then use a straining bag or a wine press to extract as much juice as possible from the skins and collect this wine in another container. The reason for separating these wines is that the wine extracted by pressing the skins will have more sediment and may slightly affect the taste of the main wine, so we'll keep them separate for secondary fermentation. It's crucial to work efficiently during straining to minimize the wine's exposure to air. Secondary fermentation. After straining, we'll immediately prepare the wine for secondary fermentation. For home production, using glass containers is ideal. Sanitize the containers, then carefully transfer the wine to them using a siphon or hose to minimize agitation and exposure to oxygen. Fill the containers to the top, leaving about 1 to 2 centimeters or half to 1 inch at the top. Secure the lids and install an airlock. Store the containers in a dark place or cover them with a black bag to prevent light exposure at a temperature around 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, for about a month to complete secondary fermentation. You may still observe some air release through the airlock, though it will be less vigorous. While the wine is drinkable after a month, it's not yet at its optimal clarity and flavor, so it's advisable to be patient and let it age further. After a month, we have 2 options. We can either bottle the wine and start enjoying it, or continue with proper aging and maturation. To bottle, use a siphon or hose to transfer the wine to a container with a tap, then fill the bottles, leaving a small space at the top. Seal the bottles tightly. For further aging, transfer the wine to another sanitized glass container, again using a siphon or hose. Making sure to leave the sediment behind, fill the container to the brim and seal it. Store it in the same conditions as before. Repeat this process every 2 months for the next 6 to 8 months. After that, you can bottle your clear and delicious wine. If you're as patient as I am and complete the aging process, your final product will be something like this. Cheers to your health. I hope this video has helped you learn how to make your favorite drink at home. Remember, alcohol consumption is harmful to health, regardless of the amount. By subscribing and liking, you'll support our channel and gain access to a variety of educational videos on making different alcoholic beverages, which are uploaded regularly. See you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.